More than 1 month after Hurricane Beryl, many of you who got approved for FEMA money are now reaching out to us saying that you haven't gotten your check yet.
Yeah, KPRC2's Brittany Begley is in New Caney with one family in desperate need of help this morning. They're in a really tough spot and can't get answers from FEMA. Good morning, Brittany.
That is the truth. Damaged, financially devastated. Take a look at your screen. You can see right here a tree smashed into a house after Hurricane Beryl. And now Miss Sanchez and her husband and 11 kids are waiting for assistance from FEMA. But you might be able to relate because it's kind of tricky. And that's why we're talking to you today. You say that you talked to someone on FEMA. They approved you. They said, we're going to send an inspector out. That inspector never showed up. And the next thing you know, you're denied. So how does it feel to have a tree in your house right now, knowing that Hurricane Beryl started it, but you're not sure how it's going to financially end?
I think we all are devastated. My kids, we have special need kids with severe autism and other disabilities, and they want to come back home. I think we all want to be home at this moment. But I think it's a shocker to all of us.
So you basically got approved and then said no. Did they tell you why you weren't approved so that you could understand what to do next?
No, they haven't told us, but when I called last week, she said, you're going to get approved. She's sending a special request. Inspector's supposed to come out, never showed up because we were waiting since July the 12th. I told her for inspector.
Yeah, and what you're watching right now is just video of earlier when we got here at 5 o'clock. You met us here because you're not staying in your home, which means you're using extra funds to live somewhere else that no one is helping you with. And when we got here at 5 o'clock, the police had to come because she didn't feel comfortable. She was afraid that there was somebody in there. There was someone following her. So not only is she waiting for money from FEMA or trying to figure out exactly why she was denied, but this morning as she comes to try to tell her story, she's now afraid that someone is inside her house. So it's been a really emotional morning for us all. And why we're telling you this story is because every storm is different. Every story with storm damage and FEMA claim is different. But the trend that we're noticing really is just, and even with us right here at KPRC2, is that we're calling FEMA. You can see right here, we're getting those missed calls. We're waiting on hold. We're just getting the runaround. So a lot of people feel helpless. And ladies, I know in the studio before we were all up early at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about how we're going to be an advocate and tell both sides of the story, but that Miss Sanchez, she's not alone in feeling helpless and not understanding why her claim was denied. And ladies, I know that you have been talking to people on social media as well, saying the same thing.
Yep, she is not alone. Brittany, thank you for sharing her difficult situation with us. Many of you have been commenting on our article on clicktohouston.com. Here are some of the comments that we have been seeing. One person saying they got approved on July 15th for FEMA $750, but FEMA gives a different answer every time they call. Another person said, I emailed HHSC and they said they are having problems processing payments. Another person says, today marks the 30th day since my application came back as eligible, and I opted for a direct deposit, which was supposed to be faster than receiving a paper check. Still haven't seen or heard from anything. And we will continue to work to get answers to all of your questions. We're going to stay on top of this story throughout the day. You can watch us here on air and online at clicktohouston.com.
Yeah, and now for just some practical advice. FEMA does say on average that it should take about 10 days to get your money after being approved. But we know this isn't average because of the large number of applicants. FEMA says it could take longer. Obviously, it is. If you haven't gotten your money, you could call that FEMA helpline, exactly like what Brittany was doing. That number on your screen right there, 1-800-621-3362. But you could also ask questions directly on the FEMA app. A lot of times in these situations, we find that government agencies, businesses do a better job managing communications digitally. So if you haven't downloaded that FEMA app, you want to do that, you could try to reach out that way. We have put this information for you on clicktohouston.com.